We were four guys, one boat, and a cooler full of dreams. Okay, mostly beer. But those cans held more than just liquid. They were the fuel for our camaraderie, the spark for our laughter, and the promise of stories that would be told and retold for years to come. The sun was up, the engine was roaring, and we were ready for the adventure of a lifetime. The horizon stretched out before us, a canvas of endless possibilities, painted in hues of orange and gold. The salty breeze kissed our faces, whispering secrets of the deep. This wasn't just any fishing trip, it was a journey into the unknown, a test of our skills and our friendship. Each cast of the line was a leap of faith, each tug a thrill that sent shivers down our spines. This was a quest, a mission, a chance to etch our names in the annals of fishing legend. We were not just fishing, we were chasing a dream that had haunted our thoughts and fueled our conversations for years. We were going after the big one, the Moby Dick of Marlin, the fish that had eluded capture and become the stuff of legends. Its very name sent a thrill through our veins, a challenge we were eager to meet. The fish so big it could swallow a Volkswagen whole, and probably had. We joked about it, but deep down we knew the stakes were high. This was our chance to prove ourselves, to show that we had what it took to conquer the sea. We'd heard whispers of this legendary creature for years, tales passed down from one fisherman to another, each story more fantastical than the last. It was a behemoth that lurked in the deep, taunting even the most seasoned fishermen. A behemoth that lurked in the deep, taunting even the most seasoned fishermen. Its presence was a shadow that loomed over the waters, a challenge that beckoned us to dive deeper, to push harder. We were determined to be the ones to reel it in, or at least get a good story out of it. Each cast was a promise, each reel a hope. We laughed, we joked, but beneath it all was a steely determination. We set off, filled with the kind of optimism that only a cooler full of beer and a boat full of best friends can provide. The open sea called to us, and we answered with hearts full of hope and hands ready for the challenge. This was our moment, our adventure, our story to tell. This wasn't just about bragging rights, it was about something much deeper, something that connected us all in a way that few other experiences could, although those were definitely a factor. The camaraderie, the shared laughter, and the collective anticipation were the real treasures we sought. It was about the thrill of the chase, the shared experience, the chance to create a story we'd be laughing about for years to come. Each cast of the line was a new chapter in our ongoing saga, each tug a potential climax. Okay, maybe it was a little about bragging rights, but it was also about the bonds we forged, the memories we created, and the stories we would tell our children and grandchildren. The legend of this fish, this aquatic unicorn, had been passed down through generations of fishermen. It was a tale that had grown with each retelling, becoming more fantastical and more alluring. It was the stuff of local lore, a creature so elusive it was practically mythical. The kind of story that made you question reality, yet filled you with a sense of wonder and possibility. The story went that it was a marlin of impossible size, with scales the color of emeralds and a dorsal fin that could slice a man in two. A fish so grand, it seemed to belong more to the realm of legends than to the waters we fished. We scoffed at the more outlandish details, of course, but there was a kernel of truth in every legend, a glimmer of possibility that kept us coming back for more. Each time we set out, we were driven by that small, shining hope. This time we were sure luck was on our side. The air was thick with anticipation and the water seemed to whisper promises of adventure. We were ready to face whatever came our way, united by our shared dream of catching the one that got away. Things started going south as they usually do, when Arnie, our self-proclaimed navigator, decided to take a shortcut. Now, I've known Arnie for a long time, and the words Arnie and shortcut have never ended well in the same sentence. This time was no exception. "I've got a hunch," he'd said, eyes gleaming with misguided confidence, "this is gonna get us there faster." One wrong turn led to another, and before we knew it we were lost. Not just lost, but hopelessly, hilariously lost. We were surrounded by nothing but endless blue water, the kind of blue that makes you question the existence of land altogether. The sun beat down on us relentlessly. Our cooler of dreams was rapidly depleting, and the only thing we seemed to be catching was a nasty sunburn. As if being hopelessly lost wasn't bad enough, we soon had other problems to contend with, namely, seagulls. And not just any seagulls, mind you, but a particularly aggressive flock with a penchant for sandwiches and a vendetta against anything resembling fun. These feathered fiends were relentless, swooping down with alarming speed and accuracy, snatching sandwiches, chips, and even Arnie's sunglasses right out of our hands. "They're mocking us!" shouted Kevin, his face a mask of sunscreen and despair. "They know we're lost and hungry." He wasn't wrong. It felt like the entire ocean was conspiring against us, and the seagulls were the ringleaders of this feathered rebellion. They were like tiny winged pirates demanding a ransom of snacks and leaving a trail of droppings in their wake. It was chaos, pure and simple, and it was hilarious. Just when we thought things couldn't get any worse, they did. The sky was overcast, and the waves were getting choppier by the minute. We were miles away from the nearest shore, and the radio was picking up nothing but static. It was as if the universe had conspired to test our resolve. Remember that shortcut Arnie decided to take, the one he swore would save us hours? Well, it turns out it wasn't just a shortcut, it was a detour into the Bermuda Triangle of fishing spots. We had trusted Arnie's instincts before, but this time, it felt different. The waters were unfamiliar, and the usual landmarks were nowhere to be seen. Well, it turns out it wasn't just a shortcut, it was a detour into the Bermuda Triangle of fishing spots. The eerie silence of the sea was only broken by the occasional squawk of a distant seagull. We were in uncharted territory, both literally and figuratively. The GPS was acting up and our compasses seemed to be spinning aimlessly. Okay, maybe not the actual Bermuda Triangle, but it felt like it. The sense of unease was palpable. Every creak of the boat, every ripple in the water seemed to amplify our anxiety. We exchanged worried glances, each of us silently questioning our decision to embark on this ill-fated journey. The engine sputtered, coughed, and then died with a finality that sent shivers down our spines. We were officially stranded. The realization hit us like a ton of bricks. We were at the mercy of the sea, with no way to propel ourselves back to safety. The gravity of the situation was sinking in, and panic was starting to set in. "Don't worry," Arnie said, his usual bravado replaced with a thin veneer of sweat. He tried to reassure us, but his voice lacked the confidence we were used to. It was clear that even he was feeling the weight of our predicament. We all looked to him for a solution. But deep down we knew we were in uncharted waters. "I know how to fix it," famous last words. Arnie grabbed a wrench and started tinkering with the engine, but it was clear he was out of his depth. Each failed attempt only added to our growing sense of dread. The sun was beating down on us and the heat was becoming unbearable. We spent the next few hours baking in the sun, trying in vain to resuscitate our lifeless engine. The sweat was pouring off us and our spirits were flagging. Every passing minute felt like an eternity. We took turns cranking the engine, hoping for a miracle that never came. The relentless sun was sapping our energy and our hope, all while being serenaded by the mocking cries of the seagulls. Their incessant squawking felt like nature's way of taunting us. They circled overhead, as if waiting for us to admit defeat. It was a cruel reminder of our helplessness. We couldn't help but feel like we were the punchline of some cosmic joke. It was a low point even for us. We had faced challenges before, but nothing quite like this. The sense of despair was overwhelming. We sat in silence, each lost in our own thoughts, contemplating the gravity of our situation. The horizon seemed to stretch endlessly, offering no sign of rescue or reprieve. But even as we cursed Arnie's name and contemplated our fate, tensions began to rise. Frustrations boiled over and we found ourselves snapping at each other. The stress of the situation was taking its toll, and our camaraderie was being tested. Yet, amidst the arguments, there was a glimmer of hope. There was a sense of camaraderie, a shared experience that only comes from being hopelessly lost at sea with your best friends. We realized that no matter how dire the situation, we were in it together. The laughter that followed was a welcome relief, a reminder that we still had each other. It was a moment of clarity in the midst of chaos, a shared experience that only comes from being hopelessly lost at sea with your best friends. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, we found solace in each other's company. The beauty of the moment was not lost on us. We were still stranded, but we were no longer afraid. We had each other, and that was enough. We were hot, we were hungry, we were pretty sure we were developing scurvy, but we were in it together, and somehow, that made all the difference. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the water, a sense of calm settled over us. We shared the last of our lukewarm beers, told stories and laughed, because what else could you do? We were four guys, stranded on a boat with nothing but our wits, our friendship, and a rapidly dwindling supply of sunscreen. And in that moment, it was enough. We realized that even if we never caught that legendary fish, even if we were stuck on this boat forever, we had each other. And that, in the grand scheme of things, was all that really mattered. Just when our spirits were starting to dwindle as quickly as our sunscreen supply, we saw it. A fin. A massive, unmistakable fin slicing through the water, heading straight for us. We held our breath, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and excitement. Could this be it? Was this the legendary marlin, come to claim us as its own? We scrambled for our cameras, adrenaline coursing through our veins. The fin drew closer, larger and larger, until it was practically upon us. And then, it surfaced. But it wasn't the fearsome marlin of our dreams, it was a whale with a bad case of indigestion, judging by the symphony of burps and groans emanating from its blowhole. We watched in stunned silence as it lumbered past, its massive body dwarfing our little boat, and then just as quickly, it was gone. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in a riot of colors, we managed to flag down a passing fishing boat. They towed us back to shore, our faces red with sunburn, our stomachs growling, and our spirits surprisingly high. We might not have caught the legendary marlin, but we had a story to tell. A story of adventure, camaraderie, and the time we almost got swallowed by a whale, sort of. We returned to our ordinary lives a little wiser, a lot more sunburned, and with a renewed appreciation for dry land and seagull-free zones. The legend of the giant marlin lived on, of course, fueled by our near misses and embellished with each retelling. And every now and then, when we're gathered around a cooler full of dreams, we still talk about that trip, the one that got away. Because in the end, it wasn't about the fish. It was about the journey, the friendship, and the memories we made along the way. And those, unlike fishtails, only get better with time. As we wrap up this incredible journey, we want to thank you for joining us on this adventure. If you enjoyed our tales of the open sea, please like, subscribe, and comment with your adventures stories. Your support helps us bring more adventures to life. And don't forget to visit our channel for more stories, tips, and unforgettable moments. Until next time, keep the spirit of adventure alive.